Welcome back into the channel, everybody. It's Jake Reid, and today I'm bringing you another MLB 19 show tutorial and tips video, and this is going to be some basic hitting tips, or sorry, basic pitching tips for MLB The Show 19, and just a general idea of what you're trying to do whenever you're pitching, you know, when to throw certain pitches, and different things like that. So we're just going to get right into it, and the first thing, as always, is going to be you're going to want to go to your options, and I've been doing this with every video so far. You're going to want to go into your pitching options and just go through and tell where everything's at. So, you know, you're going to want to try different things. If you're not comfortable with where you're at, you can go ahead and try different pitching views, different camera angles, and everything like that. But the number one thing here that matters is obviously the difficulty. Which I always recommend starting out on All-Star. It's a nice difficulty level to get you started where you want to start. You might even be able to go ahead, go All-Star or Veteran, a pretty good place to start out on. One of those two. Obviously, the lowest one's Rookie, second Veteran, third All-Star. So for the purposes of this video, we'll go Veteran because that's where I recommend it starting out on the lower end. And then the number one thing that you want to do is you want to turn pitch trail on. So whenever you guys start out the game will have it on pitch trail fade. Now that's only useful if you're playing head-to-head against somebody on the same screen, on the same game system, on the same TV, because you don't want the other person seeing where you're throwing the ball. But for the purposes of anything else when you're playing the game, you want to know where you're throwing the ball. It's actually quite important because you need to be able to dot up the edge of the strike zone and everything like that and tell where you're throwing the ball. So make sure you put pitch trail on as opposed to pitch trail fade. This is extremely important. And I'll actually go ahead and show you guys what the difference is. So pitch trail fade will be like so. So I go ahead and select the fastball, and then all of a sudden the pitch trail fades away, and I can't tell where I'm throwing the ball anymore. I have no more time to adjust. I can try and adjust, but I don't know where exactly the ball is going to go, so that kind of limits my ability. Now, what I can do is I can go ahead and go in and turn on the pitch trail, and then what it does, I'll show you guys right here, is that the pitch trail stays on the whole time. So this entire time I can see where I'm throwing the ball. The entire time I can locate one way, say no, that's not where I want to go, locate a different way. It gives you a lot of flexibility, and it lets you throw wherever you want to throw the ball, and that's extremely important. Now, tip number 2 is varying your pitches. Now, there are different strategies for how to pitch to hitters, you know, different strategies here, there, wherever, you know, whatever it might be. You might find different things from different people. You might hear different things from different types of people. But for the most part, the idea with pitching is that you want to mix it up. You don't want to constantly be throwing the same thing over and over again. An easy way to do this is to just make sure that you don't throw the same pitch 2 or 3 times in a row, because that's really going to kind of limit your ability to do exactly what you want to do as a pitcher. Now, the third tip, obviously the most important one, is that you want to stick to the edges of the strike zone. Anything within this area inside the strike zone is hittable, and it's very hittable. If you're facing somebody that's a good hitter, or you're facing the AI, they're going to capitalize on balls thrown inside the zone. So what you have to do is you have to get the ball basically half in, half outside the zone, just like this, and try and locate the ball right there. And what that does is that's going to put the ball in a location that it's going to cause them to have, you know, foul balls and stuff like this, and it's going to put the ball in a location where, you know, you're going to have to either get the benefit of a call or it's going to be called a ball. Now, this is something that I didn't learn right away when I started playing this game, but you really want to start to learn to walk people. I mean, a lot of people have this idea that if a pitcher's not getting strikeouts, they're not doing their job. Don't be afraid to walk people because you are too afraid to throw outside of the zone. It's more dangerous to throw inside the zone and risk giving up runs and stuff like that than to risk just putting one guy on base and having to work out of it. It's a lot easier to work out of it like that. You give yourself a lot more room for error than if you were to just pitch inside the zone and, you know, hope for the best. So with that being said, I'm going to show you guys kind of my strategy for whenever I throw to a pitcher. Most of the time, I'm going to start off with a fastball, and this can be in pretty much any different location that there is. You can throw it up and away, you can throw it down and away, down and in, you can throw it, you could even risk throwing it into the middle of the zone. But generally speaking, when I throw my first pitch, I'm not looking to go exactly hard on the edge of the circle. I'm trying to throw pretty much inside of the circle, and it's a pretty fair bet if you throw it down, that if they do make contact with it, it's going to be a ground ball. That's kind of how the game works. If you throw the ball down, it's generally more so often going to be a ground ball than it's going to be something hit way up and out of the park or anything like that. So you want to start yourself out with a strike. You want to get ahead in the count, is what they say. So you want to get one strike, and then you have a lot of room to work from there. Generally, what you want to do is you want to try and then start pitching around the zone. So you want to try and start, putting balls outside and hoping that the batter is going to swing at stuff outside of the zone like that. So that pitch was located far away from the guy, and it was hard for him to hit. He wasn't able to get great contact on it, as you can see in the bottom right down there. It forced a ground ball and an easy out. So you really want to try and throw, around the edges of the zone once you actually start getting ahead in the count. And then what you want to do from there is you essentially just want to keep mixing up your pitches and mixing up locations. And one of the easiest way to do things is whenever you have a guy in a two-strike situation, there are certain pitches that are really easy for them to swing at, even if they're outside of the zone. So a lot of times if you throw the high heat, which would be a fastball up and in, even if it's not in the zone, even if it's like quite a bit outside of the zone like this, they're going to swing at it because it's very hard to lay off of a pitch like that because it looks really good. It looks really juicy. The hitter says, oh man, this ball's coming right to me. I got to swing at this. I'm down 2-0 in the count. I got to swing at this. And so what you want to do is a pitch like that. And then on a count like that where there's two strikes, another pitch that works really well is the slider down and away or up and away even. So I won't be able to do it against this guy. But generally speaking, a breaking pitch for the third pitch is a pretty good put away pitch. So I'll show you guys what I would do if I got this guy into a two-strike count. So we're going to have two strikes here. Even though I can't throw the slider away from him, what I'll do is I'll call a curveball, which is a nice breaking pitch, and I'm going to throw it in. I'm going to try and throw it inside on him, slightly outside of the zone, and hopefully be able to get him on the breaking ball. Get him to swing on something juicy like that. So he swung, but he was actually able to get contact with it. So I'm going to call a different pitch. I'm going to call a changeup down and away, a little bit outside of the zone, and try and throw it so that he gets out. And now I'm going to throw a high heat because it's still a two-pitch count, and he seems willing to swing. I don't mind taking a pitch like that and throwing one out of the zone once in a while. So I'm going to work this count full if I can. I'm all right with that. And now he's got to basically swing, or I get a ball and I walk him on base, which is okay. So I'm not going to throw him anything that's going to be extremely easy to hit. I'm going to work it outside and throw him something hard to hit. And just if he gets on base, he gets on base. It's better than throwing something in the zone that he's going to go and he's going to hit out of the park or something like that. So this is one where I should be able to show you guys what it's like to throw a slider on a two count. So what I'll do is I'll try and get ahead in the at bat here and get two strikes. So there's one strike. Go ahead and throw a changeup in there, little off-speed pitch, mix it up, swing and a miss. All right, now this is where you want to use the sliders. So the slider for every person is different. If they're a right-hander, it's going to go to the left side. This is going to be a pitch that's really going to make the batter bite because it's going to look like it's coming at him, and then all of a sudden at the end it's going to break away from the strike zone, and it's going to be really hard to hit. So it looks like a fastball coming right at him, and then all of a sudden it breaks away, and so it's real easy to get them to swing on a pitch like this. This one's one that can be very effective if you locate it well and get them swinging at it. So, but like I said, don't be afraid to get guys into situations where you're going to walk them, because it's better to walk them than to throw a pitch into the zone and have them hit it for a home run. So even though I'm in a 2-2 count here, I'm just going to keep throwing stuff outside of the zone and wait for him to swing on it. And as you can see, we haven't given up any runs yet because of this strategy. All you got to do, you just got to try and work it around the edges of the zone. Don't throw anything in the middle of the zone. Even if you're desperate for a strike, take the walk and, you know, move on with your life and try and get the next guy. Try and work them into a ground out. That's the first hit that we've given up here. And the guy's just running around the ball. That's great. And that's pretty much it. That's what the pitching tips are. So number one, to recap, go into your options, go into gameplay, and go to pitching, and make sure that for your ball marker you put the pitch trail on, because the game doesn't start it out on that. You're going to want to know where you're locating the pitches. Number two is to make sure that you vary up your pitches. Number three, I believe, was to make sure that you're starting off trying to get ahead in the count, trying to throw a strike, and make sure that for the most part what you're doing is that you are going to try and paint the corners and paint the edges of the strike zone. Generally speaking, the edges of the strike zone, put a ball half in, half out. That's going to give you a good chance at getting a good call, getting it called for a strike, even if they don't swing at it. So that's very useful. And then the other one that I just actually noticed and is worth mentioning while I'm here before I sign off for this video is that whenever there's a person on base, know that your pitching meter is going to speed up. So for the most part here, this pitching meter has been extremely long. He has a very long pitching meter. But whenever there's a guy on base, the pitching meter is going to speed up. So be ready for that. And don't get caught off guard by the fact that all of a sudden your pitching meter is super fast, because then that could result, if you're caught off guard by it, it could result in a bad pitch that's going to end up leading to a home run or something that's going to really put you down in a game. So keep these tips in mind. I know they're pretty basic. They're not advanced or anything. And, you know, I'm not claiming to be the best at this game. I never have been. And I doubt I'll ever be one of the best at this game. But I can definitely help you guys out. If this video helped you guys out in the slightest, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more, and leave your feedback down below. Is there anything else you need help with? Any other games? Let me know. Leave that in the comments section, and leave any feedback, conversations you want to have down in the comments section, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope this video helped you out, and I'll be back to you guys with another one soon. See you in the next one.